Hello, Hollywood Time viewers. Today we welcome back country music singer-songwriter Shane Owens. Hey Shane, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back on.
No problem. Yeah, we're here today to talk about your latest single, You Go Good. That's a great one, let me tell you.
Yeah, a little bit more up tempo. We were excited when the guys pitched the song to me. I've been so blessed to have a lot of songwriters in Nashville pitching me some of their best material. And this one is one of those songs that's got a good catchy hook to it. It's a little bit upbeat, more tempo. Great for summertime song.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where you can't sit still, and if you are sitting still, then something's wrong with you. Maybe you're sleeping, but that's about it. Oh my gosh. And also I read too that You Go Good premiered on M Music and magazines, and it's available now for downloading and streaming.
Yes, ma'am, it is. Like I say, we've been so fortunate to have so many top 40 music row hits back to back to back, and this song just took off. It's doing well at radio. We're still getting a lot of ads late in the game, but we're inside the top 40 on Music Row, so that's a blessing.
Yeah, and I read a quote. It said, "From foot stomping music to heartfelt words that make you feel good about the relationship you are blessed to be in, Shane Owens' new single, You Go Good, is what is needed in these times of self-doubt." And that was from Judy Shields from the Hollywood Times.
Yeah, sweet, sweet people. Like I said, we've been so blessed, and there's millions of people out there that still love traditional country music, and we hadn't strayed away from loving that and sticking to our roots. And I think at the end, when it's all said and done, we're going to be in good shape.
Yeah, I was honored by your PR person, Scott, to allow me to have a quote for that song because it's really a great song. And like I said, I was honored to be asked to give that quote. Also, what was your inspiration for You Go Good?
Well, like I say, when we write, me and a lot of songwriters, some of the best songwriters in Nashville, we get together and write from the heart. We write from things that happen in everyday life, something that everybody can relate to, whether it's heartbreak or losing a loved one or something like You Go Good, just a fun filled, up tempo, great summertime song, a love song, and something everybody can relate to. And I think if we keep doing that and everybody relates to our music, because everybody knows when it's real and when it's not. And that's one thing we've been able to accomplish over the last few years is to write great songs with great songwriters and things that come from the heart.
Yeah, and then I also watched you have a lyric video. So what's involved in putting that together, a lyric video?
A lot of people want the lyric videos. It's just something I think is real cool. You not only do there's photos added, video type stuff added, and different content behind that, but people can actually see the lyric go across the video. And if you stumble across a word like "You Go Good," is kind of tongue twisting. It can be kind of tongue. If you listen to it the first time, what is he saying? So that helps put it in perspective when you can see that lyric go across the screen. And a lot of people enjoy that.
Yeah, like when I heard I'm like, you go good, you go good with me. Oh, there you go with me. Yeah, you go good with me. I love it.
Yeah.
It's really a good one. Oh my gosh. So have you been is this part of an EP or an album that's coming out?
We're putting together a couple of EPs with this song. During the COVID period, everybody had a lot of time to take time off and reflect and different things. We went in studio and recorded 16 brand new songs. So we stockpiled material while we had the time. We took advantage of that and got in there and wrote with some of the best writers, like I mentioned once before, and just stockpiled a bunch of material. So we've got enough for 2 EPs, and the next single's booted up. Of course, You Go Good still got a ways to go. It's still got legs, so we're gonna see what it can finish up doing on Music Row and out there at radio. But we love country music radio. Without them and without people like you to take time to do these interviews and put our music out there and help us in our careers, we wouldn't be able to do it. So we owe all of you a great debt of gratitude.
Oh, we love spreading the word, especially for good old traditional country music. And I'm glad you're kind of bringing that back because as most people know, or if you don't know, we lost a legend yesterday. And it's just, a lot of them are going up to heaven. And it's like it's glad to get you young folks to come out and, do the traditional music that they brought us so many years ago.
Exactly. Loretta and Kenny Rogers and Conway and so many, and George Jones and Haggard and everybody that was my heroes growing up have passed. And I take great pride in being the torchbearer of traditional country music with a couple of more artists in Nashville. And everybody's talented in their own way, and that's what makes the world go around. But I love traditional country music. If you listen to a Shane Owens record or come see me in concert, it's traditional country music. And there's a lot of millions of people out there that still love that sound.
So how did you discover your passion for music?
Well, my first love was baseball and football. I lettered 4 years in each sport in high school, and had a chance to play a little college ball. Never went on and pursued that because I fell in love with music at a young age. My grandmother was actually one of my biggest influences. She played piano in church. So we grew up singing in church, and a lot of country artists have that type background. They grew up singing in church and playing in church before they become country music stars. And she was always one of my biggest influences. But I like I say, I grew up on the good stuff. I grew up on the George Strait and Alan Jackson and Merle Haggard, George Jones, Vern Gosdin, Randy Travis, Keith Whitley. The list goes on and on of pure traditional country music artists. And like I said earlier, everybody's talented in their own way. But that's where I get my passion. My grandfather he had the Grand Ole Opry blaring every Saturday night in his house, and if you weren't allowed to run through the house when the Grand Ole Opry was on and make any noise, you'd get in trouble.
Well, what was it like for you to stand on that stage for the first time?
We played the Opry a few times, and the first time I'll never forget it. It's like the Holy Grail, the Mother Church of country music. Anytime you play the artist, that's something every country artist dreams of. Whether you sell 1 million records or 500,000 records or 2 records, if you can play the Grand Ole Opry, that's like the cream of the crop. You can actually say, look, no matter what else happens in my career, if it ends today or if God sees fit for it to end tomorrow, or never sing another song, I can tell everybody, look, in my career, I got to play the Grand Ole Opry, and that's a blessing.
So tell us what it's like. Do they give you a call? How does one like you, an artist, get on the Grand Ole Opry? And what's it like when you pull up and go through those doors? Tell us about that.
It's unbelievable. I hardly ever get nervous before any of my shows. I've sung in front of 100,000 people at one time, out with Toby Keith and different artists. But the Grand Ole Opry is a whole different ball of wax. When you step on that stage, you think about all the people that have come before you, like a Loretta Lynn or a Tammy Wynette or a George Jones or a Patsy Cline. The biggest names in country music of all time have stood there in that circle and delivered their songs to people. And the Grand Ole Opry is a piece of not only country music, but an American tradition. The Grand Ole Opry is always known as the home of country music. And, it's just, I'm not going to lie to you, I was nervous. Went out there and nailed both songs. Great, packed house, sold out. I was there with Ricky Skaggs the first time. Then when Charlie came back and done his 25th anniversary, I was there for that too, and he's dead and gone as well. So just so many, it's the Holy Grail of country music, man. Anytime you can play the Opry, it's just like a dream come true.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine. I just saw Alan Jackson actually Saturday night here in the Honda Center in Anaheim, and boy, I sure missed him. It was really good to see him on which may be his last tour, but he was amazing. I grew up with him, George Strait, loving those, newer traditional guys.
Well, when you hear a George Strait or you go to listen to Alan Jackson in concert, you're seeing the very best that country music has to offer. Not only are they great singers, they're great people. They've been along and stood the test of time. They've had more hits between the two of them than most people ever have in their lifetime. They're two of the greatest singers in country music history. So when you go see an Alan Jackson or a George Strait, you're seeing pure country class acts.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. I grew up with country music, so there's been so many of them and so many, like I said, leaving, but they've left us amazing. Oh, my lights go off. They left us amazing music, and that's always the best thing about it. What instruments do you play, Shane?
I play guitar. I grew up, I think I drove my mom crazy and my mom and dad crazy when I was 5. That was one of the first instruments I ever played was drums. They got brave and got me a set. I was 5 years old, and I think I've just about run them out of the house. But I stick to singing and entertaining. That's the gift God gave me, a wonderful country voice to entertain people and get people's attention. It's a gift. It's something you either have or you don't,
Right.
So it's something you should treasure and always use for the right reason. Just be thankful.
So who took you to like your first concert or introduced you? You said your grandma took you to church. Did you learn anything else before that?
Well,
that
before going
inspired you?
big, he come down here to a venue where everybody knows down here in Dothan, Alabama, the Wiregrass as a national peanut festival. And Garth, he had all he had out at the time was that song "Much Too Young to Be This Old,"
Yeah.
and he was real green. Nobody knew who he was. But after that night, I went and seen him in concert. I'm like, man, I want to do that so bad. I want to be that guy because he put on a great show, great entertainer. He just rocked the house that night, and I was hooked. I was already hooked on the older stuff like the Alan Jackson and the George Strait as far as that genre of music. And I think one thing about country music that I mentioned earlier is when you hear a good country song, you can relate to it because 9 times out of 10, they're singing about something that's already happened to you, or somebody it's happened to. It's just the lyric is so real in traditional country music.
Yeah, it truly is. Truly is. You have EPs, which is kind of the thing these days, the way everything is going. But do you offer cassettes, or not cassettes? Hey, look at me, boy, I'm aging myself. CDs or that kind of stuff, or even vinyls?
We haven't done any vinyl yet. That's something I think that I really want to do. It's just cool. It's just cool. I've got some fellow artists. I've seen their material on vinyl. That's just the coolest thing in the world. But we sell our CDs and our merchandise at all the shows. But I would love to have one of my albums put on vinyl. That'd be great.
Yeah. How many songs do you have coming up on the newest EP that you're releasing?
The newest EP, we're looking at putting 5 or 6 on there. We're looking at putting 5 tracks and then a bonus track.
Oh.
Still on an EP, that's about how many you put on there, 5 or 6. But like I say, we just went and stockpiled all that material, so we would have to, not have to go back in studio anytime soon. We got the brand new Christmas single that'll be coming out soon, and it's called "Nothing Compares to Christmas." A great song. I wrote it with Galen Griffin, a great songwriter in Nashville. He's had hits with Clay Walker, Craig Morgan, and so many different artists. And that's what I was talking about a while ago. I've had the opportunity that a lot of artists don't get the opportunity to have, and that's to sit down and write with some of the biggest names in country music.
Wow. Yeah, that must be, amazing. You sit there and you go through and you have your ideas, but it's like, you get other ideas from other songwriters. So that's pretty cool. Do you remember how old you were when you kind of wrote your first song that you thought was cool?
Well, I wouldn't say it was a hit, but I was probably, I don't know. Like I say, all I studied in high school was my books and football and baseball and that kind of thing to begin with. But I didn't write till after I was out of high school. I wrote my first song and never recorded it. But any songwriter out there that tells you they haven't got 200 or 300 songs in a notebook somewhere hid that nobody's ever heard, they're telling you a fib, because I've got several I've never even let anybody listen to.
So do you write on napkins, like they say, pieces of paper? Do you have that kind of stuff laying around?
Well, it's funny you asked. The first hit I ever had on country music radio was 17 weeks #1 in the state of Texas, top 40 on Music Row in Nashville. It was a song called "Bottom of the Fifth." I wrote with a good friend of mine. We had been in studio all day and we was hunting that hit song. And I love the Braves. They were playing. It was 1-0. And the first line goes, 1-0, the Braves in front, but I ain't happy. It's a heartbreak song. You can go look it up. It's called "Bottom of the Fifth." I actually wrote that with Kevin Walter on a napkin at the Longhorn Steakhouse late one night in Nashville, downtown Nashville. So yes, we do.
So that really happens. Boy, you better hope they don't spill water on it.
Yeah, I have to jot it down. My memory ain't what it used to be.
So do you ever I don't even know if you have these anymore, like a recordings on your phone. I remember John Tesh told me a story that he did the theme for national football, and he said that he had this idea and he actually called his phone and left a message on his recorder, with the tune. Da, 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 da. And that's pretty amazing. Do you ever do stuff like that where you record it on your phone when you get an idea?
I've actually got that voice app on my phone, and if I get an idea, I'll go on there and hit record. I do a lot of liners for radio and things like that on it, and it's just pretty cool that we've got the option with a cell phone to do things like that. Technology's come a long way, so yeah, I'm guilty of that as well.
Well, that's good, because sometimes you might see something or something comes in your head, and sometimes we don't always have that. So it's I guess these days it's a blessing to have a cell phone where you could just record what you want to end up writing about.
Exactly.
So what's coming up for you in the rest of 2022? Can't believe it's going to be
Well,
over in a few months.
well, we got I do my own annual Christmas show every year. It always packs out, always sells out. People's already wanting to know where they can get their VIP tickets at for this year. We haven't even started advertising yet. It always sells out. It's the end of the year. We got a song on Texas radio charts, which is climbing the charts. We got a top 40 in Nashville on Music Row. So we've got 2 singles out at one time. We're looking to fill up the tour dates. We're getting more tour dates coming in since the COVID-19 settled down, and everybody's looking forward to get back out and living like Americans should be able to live. Yeah. And having that freedom. When it's not there, we realize what little things in life we take for granted. But we're looking forward to getting back on the road. And we post stuff on Facebook every now and then. I go live on Facebook to keep it interesting. But like I said, social media has been a blessing through this period, and I think everybody's ready to get back on their feet as a nation. And all we got to do is love one another more and have respect for one another, and the world's going to be a better place.
Exactly. I mean, that's the one thing. It was a sad time during COVID, but it's the one thing that's, I hope, has taught everybody that lesson, because it's so easy to go through life and be happy. It's just a matter of being happy and being positive, and everyone should continue to say hello to each other. No one should be strangers.
So. Well, I tell everybody all the time, kindness goes a long way, and it bridges gaps. So it don't cost anything to be nice to people.
Yeah. And Shane, do you have any type of charities that you're involved with?
Yes, Wounded Warrior Project. We do a lot of stuff with the Cooks Hospital in Texas, children's hospitals, and different things like that. Anything we can be a part of like that, we always take time to do, because as you well know, a lot of people out there are a lot less fortunate than we are, and a lot of people out there dealing with things on a daily basis. And like I said, we just got to be kind to one another. If you see somebody having a bad day, just lift them up, man. Lift them up with love and be kind to them, and I'll guarantee you, it'll come back to you tenfold.
And it's amazing how it does come back to you.
Absolutely.
Yes. So what is your social media?
You go to ShaneOwensCountryMusic.com. That's our website. You can go to Shane Owens Country on the Facebook page. If you want to download my music, go to Apple Music, all that music outlets there, Spotify, all that stuff. Just go click on that, download the brand new single, You Go Good. Be looking for the brand new single, Nothing Compares to Christmas. Go to the website, check out our tour dates, buy some merch, and contribute to the cause of traditional country music.
All right. We appreciate that. Thank you for taking the time, and we look forward to continue to follow you as you climb the ladder.
Well, thank you so much for your time and what you do for modern day country artists like myself. You're a blessing.
Yes. Yeah, the country music is where it's all at. Sorry, folks. I'm a country girl. Well, you have a blessed day today.
You too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.